Right then guys, hi. So, let me find my phone first. So I'm parked up and I thought I'd go through. I will make eye contact. There we go. So I thought I'd go through the pros and cons that I feel for powerlifting. So powerlifting I find gets a lot of bad rap. One of the two gets a lot of bad publicity, and in essence, mainly from people that don't powerlift. But biggest one I think I've ever had is when you lift a weight you've never lifted before, or you do something that you've never done before. Yeah, but you've lifted that because you're fat. That's my biggest gripe when it comes to powerlifting. And I don't think I am fat. I mean, I'm 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", 105 to 110 kilos. Problem with me is, I've said it again and I'm not going to go into details, I have an intolerance. So some days I can be, before I knew what my intolerance was, I could bloat up so bad, like really bad, like look like I'm pregnant. I know that's impossible, but you get what I mean, so bloated. So then when you put a powerlifting belt on and everything, I mean, I haven't had a Monster or any of those any energy drinks in, must be 3 years. I stopped it. The last one I had was when I competed. I'll put a little video up of me doing deadlift, 240 kilo, that. Smashed it. It's the fastest I think I've ever moved 240 kilo, and it was on comp bar and comp weights, so it's not like it wasn't 240 kilo, but I smashed it. So I've lost my train of thought now. What was I on about? When people say that you lifted that because you're fat, my weight over the last 3 years hasn't changed at all, but my bloating, that can have a massive effect. And you can blow, I can then get the gas, I can sometimes get the runs. Really exciting, you really want to know that, don't you? But if you're at the bottom of, if you're about to do a heavy 5, heavy 3 reps, or a full-on RP9 single, you don't want the thought of what happens if I shit myself. What happens if I fart? I farted at the bottom. I don't know if I'll be able to find the footage. I think up to this point I've got 82 videos on YouTube. One of them, single squat at the old gym back at the Dome, I farted at the bottom of the rep. It just popped out, lost all tightness, tipped forward, ended up good morning it up. So me knowing what not to eat is going to be so beneficial for when I get back to training, when I get back to, because at the moment I'm filming this 1st of April, so gyms aren't open yet. They open in 11 days. I can't tell you how excited I am. But pros and cons of powerlifting. The biggest pro I find for me, just spat then, is the rep ranges and your primary focus is on strength, getting as strong as possible, getting as strong as you can possibly get. I find that so beneficial. You're focusing on strength, moving. One of the better feelings, or probably the best feeling with powerlifting, is you've got a weight here. You've never moved that weight, but you put so much effort in, and over time you get to the point where you can move that. There's no better feeling. That I feel if your program is set up right, you shouldn't fail a rep. The only time you should fail a rep, in my opinion, is if you're competing and you're going for full-on 1 reps. An RP9 or a single in the gym should always be a double, or you should always have some left. There might be the odd day where you're fatigued and you're tired and your central nervous system is on fire and it's recovering. There might be external factors, but you should never get buried at the gym. My opinion, because I don't think there's any benefit in being buried at the gym. don't feel there's any benefit in that. I don't feel like you're going to gain anything apart from, if you want to do progressive overload and you want to do days on days and 4, 5, 6, I know people that I have as well train 7 days a week. Find if your training split is right and it's not, you're hitting the numbers but you're not killing yourself, you will recover so much quicker, and you can do it. I've deadlifted 3 days on the trot and I've been fine. So the primary focus on strength, I think, is amazing. You can't go wrong with being strong, basically, which is true. You can't. And moving a weight you've never moved before in your life, I've gone through this in videos in the past. I got to the point where I was close, and then lockdowns and everything. So I find though, you've got to have good form. There's the second pro. My emphasis is good form. I want to move whatever selected weight that is. I want to move it well. I want to move it with good form. I'm not saying I always have. There has been videos that are online that I haven't put online where my form has been shocking, and you will know by looking at me I'm not happy with it. The amount of people that go into powerlifting, the amount of times I've heard, oh, I don't deadlift, it hurts my back. No, it doesn't. The form of deadlifting doesn't hurt your back. It's the fact that your form is shite. That's the problem. You're putting all the pressure in the lower back, and your back will be okay for the first few weeks, maybe months, but then you'll come in to move one certain weight and your back will go pop. Or you'll have 6 weeks of no training, and you'll accustom that, or you'll attribute that to the fact that it was the deadlift that did it. You won't realise, because I've been told numerous times about my form when I was learning, and I take that on the chin. I say thank you, because sometimes you don't know you're doing something until someone else tells you. You'll just pick it up. I mean, I in a video that has just gone live, time of filming this, my 4-year transformation now on this. There's been 18 months of no training in this because of COVID. But I'm taking the years from the first video that I put up. There's a deadlift there, my first 220 kilo deadlift, and it was absolutely atrocious. I literally just pulled it up to my knees and then locked it out, and that is not good. I find you've got another pro is you've got a narrow defined focus on strength. Powerlifting, the way you're going to win something in powerlifting is getting your squat, your bench, your deadlift to be strong. Granted, if you're going to compete, it needs to be a good lift, because there's parameters you need to tick to get 3 white lights to get a good lift, or 2 white lights, but you need more white than red in a powerlifting sense, in a powerlifting gig. But I find that because you're narrowly focused on getting those 3 lifts stronger, I find that happens. If you say you are a powerlifter watching this, and you're out of the 3, there is shoulders, but you don't do that in a comp, so I'm not gonna put that in this. But if you are training those 3, and one of them is really, really weak, and they don't seem to be getting much progress on that, ask yourself, how many days a week are you training it? Because I know people that you always get a lift that, I'm not saying this stays the same all the time, but you always get a lift that people favour. Like my friends, when we go back to the gym, they're deadlifting on the first day. I'm benching, because that's what's on the programme. I'm really anal when it comes to, I stick to the programme all the time. I don't think I've ever strained off the plan, gone for like a YOLO lift, because I find ego lifting just hurts you. But if one of your lifts isn't progressing, just do it more. Bench 3 times a week. Put a double split on a day, do a bench and squat day. Like you would come, if you've got the time, do a squat, bench and deadlift. I'm not saying that's attainable, I'm not saying you can keep doing that, but if one of your lifts isn't moving, then do it more. But make sure your form is good. That's one of the biggest things I could say to people if they're going to get into it. Then you just need to make sure your form is good. The strength will come. That will come. If you're training for maximum strength, if you're training for powerlifting, and you're doing the 5s, the 3s, the 1s as the main compound lifts, the strength will come. Don't worry about that. Strength will come. But if your form isn't there, or your form is bad, and let's put it on a scale, 0 to 100. 100 is the most, like a 1 rep. Yeah? Up to a certain point, your form won't show. You won't know that your form is quite bad. But when you get to like 65, 75, up to 100%, that's when your discrepancies will come out. So one of my mates, Scott Badwell, got massive respect to him, and I wouldn't be the lifter I am today if it wasn't for him. When I said I would never going to compete, it was him instilling the confidence in me to book it, to go and compete, and then he took me underneath his wing, and my form, I'm not saying it's great, 90% of the time my form's good. My squat, my bench and my deadlift wouldn't be as good as they are if it wasn't for Scott taking the time out to mentor me and make me the lifter I am. So thanks, Scott. But yeah, that's so a few cons. I find that some of the cons are you can be too focused on just the big 3, going in and doing deadlifts and killing yourself or running out of time and never doing. I find that the accessory movements are as important, sometimes more important than the main 3, because the accessory movements are going to get your discrepancies or your weaknesses. Everyone's going to have a weakness on something, and in order for you to push past where you are or where your plateau is, you need to be doing the movements that get that stronger. For me, deadlift, lockout is my weakest. Lockout massively. I could probably get most weight within reason for me off the floor. Locking it out is my weak point, so I do things to make that stronger. You're only going to get so strong without implementing things to get you out of that plateau. If you're starting powerlifting from nothing, you will gain strength really quickly, but you will get to a point where you are not moving, and then you will also get to a point where things are going down or you're injuring yourself because you need to get your form right. That's the biggest thing. I keep going on about it. Get your form right. And if you ask somebody that you don't know or your friend in the gym and they tell you your form isn't nice or it's shite, don't get your back up and go, well, no. Take it on. I've seen people in the gym, and I'm not one of them guys that comes along and goes, oh, you're doing that wrong, and if I was to do this, and I benched this when I was 30 year younger, older. If they're trying to give you positive feedback, bearing in mind they're lifting it outside, you're focused on that lift. You're not. Your external factors are switched off in essence. I do. I've done 1 reps in the past or RP9s, and then people have asked me how was it. I don't know. I've just done it. So if someone just watched you do the lift, he's giving you not giving you criticism, but constructive. Take it on board because that's going to help you progress. But don't just be mega focused on the big 3 lifts. Oh, what are you doing today? I'm deadlifting. Oh, I had a good deadlift day on Monday, but it's Tuesday. Yeah, but I want to deadlift again. It's about not fast progression. It's about slow progression. Day on day on day on day, week on week. But yeah, that's that. Get your form right, listen to people, and I'll tell you one of the biggest things which I have done, and I still do, surround yourself, train with people that are stronger than you. You're not going to get better by training with people that are weaker than you. I'm not going to list the people that I want to thank for getting me where I am. I'm going to do that in another video because I need to write it down because I don't want to miss somebody out. But the 2 that I'm training with at the moment are massive to me. They not only do they having somebody with you. I'm training with my friend Dave, who you've seen. He won the 50 subscriber giveaway. I'm also training with a guy called Lee. They're both really strong, but also on days that you don't feel like you can lift it or you don't want to lift it, the peer pressure aspect. I always say 90% of the time training with somebody will get you better results. Simple. there is the days that you want to just put your headphones in and want the world to disappear. But training with somebody will get you stronger, because at the moments that you think it's slow or you don't want to do it, they will push you. Plus, you don't want to let them down, in essence. You don't want to not do the lift. And you do get a bit of peer pressure that I've had it in the past where I've needed 5 and the first ones felt horrid. Like, felt so slow, and my brain instantly, in the past, powerlifting for me is not just about strength, it's such a mental battle for me. If I know I need 5, and I know that on the program, it's Monday, it's whatever day it is, say it's a Monday, I know on Thursday I've got 5 at 190 on squat. I know I've got that in 4 days. So I'm already thinking about that weight. So therefore, when I've lifted that weight off, my brain's already made me feel it's heavier. My brain can make the weight feel slow, when actually from someone outside of you, out of the rack, oh, that flew. What, did it? It felt slow as out. So some people walking behind you and going on, the pressure pushes you. I find for me, you're not going to get stronger unless you go through a bit of discomfort. And it's going to be hard, because you're not going to be able to lift a weight that you've never lifted before without going through some, I would say pain, but good pain, being knackered. The amount of people that I know that I train, but don't actually know how much I train. The amount of times I get, oh, you eat a lot. Well, yeah, because I train 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week, and it's hard. Other powerlifters will know, if you go in and you have a big day and you're doing sets of 5 on squat, and then you've got all your accessory movements and all the extra bits, and if you do cardio, it knackers you. You're knackered. It absolutely takes it completely out of you. But people don't realise that. People think you just go to the gym for a bit of fun, to see your mates and to have a laugh. But no, I go to the gym to better myself, to get better. So, a few pros and cons there, a little bit of chat. Can't wait for the gyms to open, to start getting, and hopefully this will be the last time, hopefully. But I will see you in the next one, guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe. 62 subs at the moment. Let's get that up. Let's get that to 100. I've got a rate 100 subscriber video planned, but I need the 100 subs before I can do it.